In natural language, you can say, okay, do this task over Slack, Notion, and Gmail, and it will get done.
Hi everyone, I'm joined today by Karan from Composio, an integration layer for AI agents. Karan shares what people are actually using MCP for, the future of function calling, and what an Elon Musk retweet actually means for signups.
When something launches, people are eager to use it. So we are very quick on kind of creating examples, launching something that adds value to people's lives. Everybody in the community really liked their examples, reposted it. That got us really good momentum. If one agent using Composio does a mistake, we kind of learn from it. And the next agent using Composio shouldn't make the same mistake.
So Karan, you have had this really explosive growth. I think you've gone from, some, in your own words, not many users to 100,000 users in the space of about 6 months. You've ridden the wave of MCP, of agents, of function calling. What has it been like the last 6 months, and how did you do this?
Yeah, I mean, it has been a crazy ride. So, people who don't know, at Composio, we are building the integration layer or skills for AI agents. And as part of it, there has been a really kind of increase in demand. We provide kind of like tools. You can connect like Slack, Gmail, etc. via MCP, via directly function calling. So, like everybody, I'm guessing, who is listening, if they are not under the rocks, they would have heard about MCP and
Yep.
probably used it with either Cursor, Claude, or ChatGPT. So one of the biggest lever that kind of led to our growth was MCP. We launched our MCP product in March, and like, for example, in the beginning, people were using Cursor with Supabase, with Gmail, Slack, etc., just to kind of automate a big part of their day-to-day workflow. So, for example, if they want to like just get their DB schema and query something while writing code, they can do it in Cursor. Or if they want to use their code to write an engineering doc in Notion, they can use Composio MCP. So, I think that was really like kind of an unlock that led to that virality. People were waiting to do that inside their IDE. That post that I made around like MCP launch itself got like 1 million+ views. And yeah, I mean, almost everybody in like Cursor Claude community kind of looked at it. And like from what I remember, that was one of the instigating movement of like that whole MCP hysteria as well that started.
Could you
Around
tell us about this post? What the post was?
So it was just our MCP launch. We had a video. We had like the whole kind of like mcp.composer.dev launch where we were explaining how you can use it, a demo, a small demo of like basically connecting your cursor with all these tools and doing like almost all the things inside your IDE itself. Like, so a software engineer who is writing code doesn't have to go outside to like chat with his teammate or write an engineering doc, read a PRD, etc. All of these things can be literally done inside the IDE, which went pretty good. In addition, we have been really, I would like to say, lucky of sorts, but kind of opportunistic as well, where whenever something new launches, we are right then and there. So to give you an idea, when Grok 3 launched, we made a really cool example with Grok 3, which Alan retweeted, and we got like, I don't remember, but approximately 2 million views. Then when like recently Grok 4 launched, we did a Grok CLI, which was like, you can use like Cloud Code, you can use Grok CLI to do almost everything on your terminal with Grok. So that also ranged in like 500K views. It was shared internally in XAI, etc., etc. So yeah, that was also interesting. So what we have done is kind of we have latched on to these right opportune moments. When something launches, people are eager to use it, try it with various form factors. So we are very quick on kind of creating examples, launching something that adds value to people's lives. And I think I still get queries around Grok CLI, like people are using it like day to day, like to use Grok. So I think that repo, for example, I think has around like in like 2 days, it kind of got around 700, 800 stars. So that was also pretty good. So yeah.
Wow. How much, I guess a lot of people will be curious, how much an Elon Musk retweet of your demo, how much that actually translates to kind of like users and like, good users, like what was the impact, if you can remember?
Yeah, I mean, I do remember there was a spike in signups. It's very difficult for me to kind of figure out if it was a good user or not, but definitely it led to a lot of eyeballs for Composio. I could totally see there was like, I think at least like, if not more, 100% jump in signups that day when Alan retweeted.
Yeah. I wonder if it's actually like kind of a strategy of just, if someone is working on something and they're like very famous and then they launch it and then it is a good strategy to do that. And
Yeah, I mean, like it's like whenever something new is there, which is kind of, for example, DeepSeek movement or Grok or Claude 4, people are hungry for content around it. People like want to know what are the new capabilities that these models unlock. And like there are so many opportune moments that are coming just because all these model companies are launching models every other day. So I particularly think on social media, there's always, even though we feel it's all flooded with those type of contents, but there's always dearth of content because people are looking for more. They want to explore what is possible. Is it even worth their time? So that's the idea, where like if you post something around that time and like it's really good, it really picks up on the social media. And like it's not only true for actually social media, it's true for like blogs as well. So some of our blogs, when kind of like, for example, any of these models release, any new frameworks release, really pick up well on like SEO, on Reddit, etc.
how do you like actually do that organizationally? Because I imagine it's like, you kind of, I know there were startups, you don't necessarily have like a long-term plan, but you have stuff that you're working on. And then it's like, you're on Twitter, you see like Grok 3 just got released or whatever. Then you just drop everything. And like, how do you do that? Like, is that pretty much what you do? Or
It's not actually like drop everything, but it's like you carve out those extra hours, like probably from your sleep or from your me time, and like
yeah.
like it's important enough that you can like sleep later, I guess,
Mm.
to grab that attention, because like those moments are like rare, but you have to capture them.
How important of a strategy do you think it is to do that? Because like it's kind of an argument. If it is very important, it's like maybe you should just drop everything. But it's like you'll do the core stuff, but you will still work on it. I don't know how do you think of that around that?
Like it's a strategy where you don't have to spend a lot of time. You do spend time, but it's fun also, right? So like I kind of like to explore when something new comes up.
Mm.
So it's more of like the strategies around my kind of liking or passion of exploring. So it doesn't feel extra work. I'm kind of anyway willing to do that extra mile of going and exploring. That's like whenever Grok 4 releases or Claude 4 Opus releases, DeepSeek releases right now, Kimi K2. So I'm like I like to do that. I think everybody in my team, my co-founder, my like the team that we have built, thankfully, everybody likes to do that. So it doesn't
Mm.
feel of an extra effort. It's more around like, okay, we anyway like are going to do that. Why not just kind of like distribute it or make everybody aware of what are some of these findings?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, honestly. Like it's the stuff that you don't even think about. You're just it's just like fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just natural. Like it's very hard to kind of like if you don't like to do that, it's very hard to create strategy around that, very honestly. But if you just like to do that, you like to explore new things, you like to try out, build on top of that and see how it is working, it's like an extra mile. But if you already do that, it's like just a hack, like just post around it and you'll get some momentum.
Scaling DevTools is sponsored by WorkOS. If things start going well, some of your customers are going to start asking for enterprise features. Things like audit trails, SSO, skim provisioning, role-based access control. These things are hard to build, and you could get stuck spending all your time doing that instead of actually making a great dev tool. That's why WorkOS exists. They help you with all of those enterprise features. And they're trusted by OpenAI, Vercel, and Perplexity. And if you use them for user management, you get your first million monthly active users for free. I honestly don't know any dev tools that have 1 million monthly active users, apart from GitHub maybe. So that'll get you pretty far. Here's what Kyle from Depot has to say about WorkOS.
We use WorkOS to effectively add all of the SSO and SCIM to Depot. It's single-handedly like one of the best developer experiences I've ever seen for what is like a super painful problem if you were to go and try to roll that yourself. So for us, we can effectively offer SSO and SCIM, and it's like 2 clicks of a button, and we don't ever have to think about it. It's like one of the best features that we can add to Depot. It's super affordable, which effectively allows us to like break the SSO tax joke and essentially say like you can have SSO and SCIM as like an add-on onto your monthly plan. Like it's no problem. So it really allows smaller startups to essentially offer like that enterprise feature without a huge engineering investment behind it. Like it's literally, we can just use a tool behind the scenes and our life is exponentially easier.
Do you have any tips for people on like how to, because there's playing around with it. I'm sure a lot of people are playing around with new stuff when it comes out, but have you found any like patterns or like tips on posting about this sort of thing?
I would say I generally start reading about it first, like what other people are posting, because people start like there are people much faster than me who just get access before me and like post things before me. So I make some like mental model of like, okay, this thing is better in this direction. Maybe it's coding, maybe it's reasoning, maybe it's ... Like VO3, obviously everybody knows it's better in kind of like video generation a lot. And so I think getting some level of mental model, okay, this is the direction probably I should push and create something around. And maybe it will be better than all the past things and maybe it will work out.
And so I kind of interrupted you in the journey though, because like I got weighed down on like you're talking about getting retweeted by Elon and the impact, but you were saying that you've kind of been able to benefit from a lot of the trends. Could you kind of carry on that description of the journey of the last 6 months?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I probably will start a bit before, if that's okay. Like, which is like we began Composio, the current iteration of product last year around February 2024. So it's been around like 1.5 year since the beginning. Like in the starting phase, as it is, we were just building the product for first few months, and then I think we like slowly started launching it in a few places because we were also afraid about the product quality in the beginning. Like we are providing authentication layer for agents. We are providing the tooling layer for agents. So it's very critical piece of the infrastructure. So I think anything going wrong can like literally muddle our reputation. And like once you like in an infra product, if like people try it once and it doesn't work, then like the coming back is somewhat hard to them. They form like a perception around you, which is why it's really difficult. Like the GTM is also difficult because you have to kind of somewhat balance the quality of product because you can never be perfect. So you have to balance that. So kind of we were somewhat always slow, but like in the beginning we realized that there are like a lot of people building agents. If you remember early on, like whole kind of like agentic frameworks, like LangChain, Llama Index, Crew AI, like still now, but like I think at that time, like last year, because like the inference runtime was not there, a lot of things were not there. They were like really getting popular. People were building on top of it, and we were part of all these Discord communities, all the different type of communities that these people had, and realized that kind of one of the biggest bottlenecks of them building agents is good quality tools. To build any agent, you need to connect your LLMs with tools. So that requires authentication, changing the like whatever API schema, etc., to function calls, which needs to be really LLM friendly so that the LLM actually understands it well. And yeah, I mean, that's where we posted a lot on these Discord communities, got some early adopters to test the product, and we realized, okay, this is working. And that's where, like I would say, like late last year, that's when our like proper GTM journey started, I would say. And we, like, very similar to the trend that I mentioned, we were doing a lot of cool examples with almost all the agentic frameworks. So we made native packages for all the agentic frameworks. So using Composio with, let's say, LangChain is very trivial. You just need to install Composio LangChain, and then like we do the whole tool formatting, etc., directly in the LangChain format. You don't have to think about anything. Same goes with Llama Index, Crew AI, any framework that you can think of. And these frameworks already had a big community, and they were hungry for the tools for the integrations. And that's where I think when we posted around, let's say, with LangChain, the community around LangChain got really interested, and they kind of reacted really well to the content. They started using Composio with LangChain, same with Llama Index, and even like people building LangChain, Llama Index, etc. They also realized that with Composio, it's kind of like they can, like, their users can build much better agents, because now their agents can connect to, let's say, Gmail, like end to end, and kind of manage the emails, or calendar to schedule emails. And those examples got some really good attention. I think from Harrison to Jerry to Joao, everybody in the community really liked their examples, reposted it, etc. And kind of that got us really good momentum.
And for those that Harrison being the founder of LangChain, Jerry Llama Index, and then Joao is which one?
Crew AI.
Crew AI. Okay.
Yeah, they all are really good friends. I think thankfully all of us are doing really well. So that's great. And yeah, I think other than that, as I just mentioned, our blogs went also really viral on like different things. We were doing blogs around, like, generally whenever something released, kind of notes around that, comparing a lot of things. People are hungry for those type of contents. And that was viral on the SEO side as well as on Reddit. It got like 1 million plus views. So at one point, I remember early on, like January, February, like every month we were getting 1 million plus views across like Reddit, like on Twitter individually.
Wow.
So yeah.
When I hear like people talk about Reddit communities, I think my mind is like stuck in like 10 years ago or like 5 years ago, where I'm thinking like, oh, like JavaScript, like Python, like, you know, even I don't know if there must be a React subreddit. I'm not in that, but React Native. But it's like it hadn't really occurred to me that these frameworks are kind of like, you know, like the Llama Index and the LangChain and stuff. It feels like those are kind of like the new places, I guess, that people hang out. And like I've been doing a lot of stuff with Masterer recently, and like really enjoying it. And like it does almost feel like that's a way of working, and it seems like a really good strategy there.
I think there's a Reddit for almost all these frameworks as well as like, I think one of the most popular Reddits is obviously Singularity, where people post a lot of things. ChatGPT, a lot of these Reddits, like Llama. I think one of our posts on like Llama Reddit subreddit went really viral.
What was the post?
I don't remember particularly well, but it was around like probably one of the examples built with Composio, where kind of like it was a user, like kind of one of the Composio users built it, and we posted around it. I think on Reddit, what works is like a detailed story of what you did and how it affected your work. Like, okay, I improved my day-to-day by using Composio and building something around it.
Okay, so someone, not you, the company, but someone saying, I used Composio and it saved me a ton of time, or I was able to build this thing I wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you normally post with like a graphic, like a GIF or something, or like on Reddit?
It's more around like text content, but the blog itself has graphics.
Yeah. You guys are very interesting copy. I saw like on your website you have like pricing is like it's like ridiculously cheap. And like what is it exactly? I'd pull it off. It's like
I think totally free, ridiculously cheap, some serious business. Yeah.
So that's a very interesting, bold way to put your prices. Totally free,
Yeah.
ridiculously cheap, serious business. And serious business is $229 a month, which is, I guess it's some serious business at that point. Relatively
Yeah.
serious business, at least.
Yeah. I mean, like, very honestly, right now we are focused on getting the right usage. So I think pricing is something that we have not even put a lot of our mind about. But at the same time, obviously everything around so one thing is everything that you have, like the white space that you have is content, right? I think someone said it. I don't remember who. Like you should use everything very wisely, and that's where kind of like our audience is developers, and like they all like something interesting, funky, and that's where I think like regular pricing, nobody will like look at it and get like, oh, I want to use this company. Why you like kind of waste that space also to kind of like not attract developers? I think that's the idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. I always wonder, like, one of my friends, Joe, launched this product, and I don't think he ever monetized it, but it was like a database. And I think it was before the pricing, and he on the pricing page, I think he just had a picture of like Karl Marx and was like, it's free or something.
Oh, that's
And
interesting. That's a good idea.
people like loved it. I think at one point it was on like big on Hacker News, and like that was the thing that people were talking about the most. It was like, I don't know if it's like, I guess it feels like we have to be super serious, and maybe we don't on the pricing pages.
Yeah. I mean, like we have an kind of like an enterprise pricing, but you have to anyway get on a call for that. So like, why be serious on the other fronts?
So no one's going to have to justify the line item that just says serious business $229 necessarily.
Yeah. Most of the startups use that. So yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant. Would you be able to talk about MCP? And also, I think you're in a good position to kind of separate what's the noise and what is the real. Where is this going? What are the real use cases that people are using in, like, serious business?
Yeah. So there are two parts of it. Like MCP is being used by direct consumers, prosumers, I would say, with their client of choice being Cursor, Claude, or ChatGPT. ChatGPT is somewhat like, I wouldn't say it's there because like that, like MCP integration is still not complete. They just support it in deep research, not in anything else. And then there is a second audience, which is like people building on top of MCP, where like I'm building an agent and I use MCP for my tools to connect my, like to get my users data or take action on my users account. So there are two audience. The first one is like I want to, in my day to day, while I'm building or while I'm doing my work, I already use ChatGPT, I already use Claude, but I have to, like, for example, if I'm drafting an email, I'll draft it on Claude, but then I'll go to my Gmail and then like copy paste it, send it across. So that's a very small use case. But if you think about it, while kind of like writing a PRD or a design doc, I'll do it probably inside Cursor because that's where all my code sits. A lot of design docs like readmes etc are present there, so it has like good amount of context, but then I'll make it there and then I'll go to Notion to copy paste it. The idea that kind of like MCP brings, and this is not all by the way, is to connect where I'm kind of actually chatting with the LLMs to my actual work, where I can directly create all the docs inside Notion. One of the biggest use cases of Composio MCP right now is the Figma MCP. So a lot of our users are literally like, we have a tool where you can get the Figma screens in a JSON format, and essentially Claude, Opus does a very good job of converting that directly to code. So a lot of our users get their first version of Figma to code directly via the Figma MCP. And like, that's very interesting because like, I think that just means as these models are improving, that's the way like you'll be like mostly closer to these models, right? So the idea is kind of like right now Claude for Opus does a 90% job of getting it right, but as kind of like in the future, it will be probably really soon, like 99, 100%. And then like, why would you want to go away from like this place, like where you're interacting with someone who can just do your job? So the idea, like, then the idea is like, you'll connect your Figma, you'll connect your database, Supabase. I think Supabase was one of the most used MCP of Composio as well, where people were doing a lot of data analysis on top of their data in Supabase, even changing schemas, or kind of just changing the code around DB, like using Supabase MCP. So that was very interesting. So these are like different use cases, and like when like model keeps on improving, that's happening at like really rapid pace, as we know. It will be just kind of like people will be glued to where the models are, and like all the other things will be coming in via MCPs or to their cursor, Claude or ChatGPT. So that's on the prosumer side. And on the people building their agents there, I have seen a mixed reaction till now. So the benefit of MCP, firstly, is that you get the whole corpus of like MCP servers. If you build a client once, you can connect to all the MCPs. You can connect to, like, we have like around 550 toolkits. Essentially, one toolkit is one app, so Gmail, Slack, etc., that you can directly connect to. There are some kind of like native MCPs, like Notion has released an MCP, Linear has an MCP, etc. You can connect to them directly, and community-based MCPs. So that's one of the advantages of, like, if you want to build, let's say, a client and want like a tail and plethora of application, you can just create like one MCP client and connect to all the MCP servers outside. Now, there are some limitations there. A lot of people want to customize different things like function schemas that the LLM sees, or control the request that LLM makes, etc. Control the response that LLM gets. In some cases, like, the response can be huge, and like the LLM context can kind of overblow. MCP as a protocol, and I was just listening to one of these talks where one of the main MCP creator in Claude mentions that the whole protocol, they're designing it in a way where ease of server creation is really high, because they believe like everybody will create MCP servers. But at the same time, the trade-off is they're not trying to optimize the client DX, and ability to do things is lower, because they think like there will be only few clients. Their idea is there will be only ChatGPT, Cursor, and like probably Claude, like very few singular clients that will access plethora of servers. So that's where their focus is not on like client-side developer experience. And that's where a lot of our users are still using us via our direct DX and like directly using function calling, because then they get a much better developer experience, and they can customize the hell out of like whatever they want to do. So because like, yeah, that's somewhat difficult because you're interacting with the server on MCP side. So that's where I think the whole DX is not that optimized for like to build on. So yeah, I think like it's extremely useful for like universal clients of like sorts like ChatGPT, Cursor, because you get like all the tail end applications. People can build their own servers very easily and like use whatever they want to use, their internal, their self-made, etc., with these clients.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to get products which are basically just, I don't know if I can explain this in my head. It might be like dumb question, but like kind of the product is you send a request and then it goes to like some virtual, like some server that has Cursor in like kind of a sandbox and that has all these MCPs, and then kind of the product is just like the agent running Cursor with all these like tools and sends it back, and it's like a standalone kind of thing. I don't know, like it, because if that's the perfect prosumer way to build things, maybe it's like almost like the product as well as like kind of a wrapped up developer in a box kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like you're talking about like a background agent of sorts, right?
Yeah, but I guess I was just, because I always think of like Cursor as like where you, I suppose it is. Yeah, it's a background agent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, so by the way, we are launching this amazing new way of using Composio, so which might be very like similar to what you just said, where you don't have like right now you have to kind of think a lot about, okay, I have to use Gmail, I have to use Slack, and like a user has to do multiple things, get the URL for Gmail, get the URL of Slack. It's kind of a very big friction. We are launching a product where it's a single URL. You don't need to decide what capabilities you want, etc. In natural language, you can say, okay, do this task over Slack, Notion, and Gmail, and it will get done. So like the whole kind of agentic loop, etc., will be on our side. We'll manage everything of that, and you just need to give the instruction. Okay, you want a summary of last 24 hours of messages on Slack, and create a Notion doc around that, and send me an email. And send me an email at 11 a.m. when I start my day. It will be done.
That's really cool. With Agentic Loops, because I started to like dabble, and I'm using like Maestro, and with Maestro, you don't, I think they handle the Agentic Loop in a way like, because you just declare your tools and then like you say what you want to happen, which I think is like kind of the vibe like that you're describing, but it's, you probably just run that like in cursor, right? Like, what goes on under the hood there? Is it just like, how are you like, what does the code kind of look like? How does the logic work well for this kind of agentic loop? Is it just like a for loop, or like, how are you?
I think like there's one good post of like building agents by Devin. There's one obviously by the Claude team as well, like the Claude Code team. I think most of the agentic loops are literally kind of like, because the models have improved so much, are converging to like a for loop of like basically observe, react type of a thing. And the idea is, how well do you summarize the information and the like the tool call responses to the agent so that it can react well, it can kind of understand and react well. So that's the idea, giving it the right information. That's what we're trying to do. And like providing the right tool calls so that like you can, like if you think about it, like we have like around 550 tools right now, which are increasing at a very rapid pace. We added, like for example, 140 tools, like 140 apps in last 2 to 3 weeks. So it's kind of increasing at a really rapid pace. If you give all of them to the LLM, it will just blow up. It can't process that much, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of the narrowing it down is important.
Exactly. So we have like around 20,000 actions if you think about it all. So that's not even possible to kind of give in context. Even if you give like full context, it's like attention is sparse. You can't give everything and like expect it to perform really well. So that's where I think it's about like designing the context that you pass to the LLM well, designing the tools such that like the capabilities can be extended, but in the right direction when needed. So that's the idea. Making sure that you have the right, what we call internally a dependency graph of sorts, of okay, for doing this thing, this needs to happen, and this needs to happen, because then only you can get the like very in a very abstract manner, then only you can get the direction right, where you have like limited context, what needs to come first, and then second you need to decide that while passing it to the LLM.
Wait, can you explain that again? I feel like I didn't quite.
Yeah, so example, like it's a kind of like the example that I gave, like summarize my Slack messages and then pass it to Notion. If I pass all the plethora of Slack tools, Notion tools, etc., directly to the LLM, it will just blow up. It won't perform really well. So kind of like, okay, first I need to do this, then I need like all the related tools around like Slack of kind of like conversation related. I pass that, and then once that's done, pass the tool for like specifically selecting the right tool for Notion, passing that. And then like if I want to send an email, passing that. It's like a very simplified format, but like essentially there can be like really complex dependency graphs internally that we make and pass the right context to that.
And you're calling the dependency graph is like, okay, they want to do this thing, therefore first we need to like, one of the dependencies, we need to decide which tools, and then maybe that has a dependency somehow of like, okay, and it comes back up to just the final.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I guess like a lot of calls.
Yeah. It's a tough problem. I think we are internally also realizing we need to kind of abstract a lot of things out, and like we are essentially forming the skill layer. If you read the copy on the website also, it's like skills, so kind of like learning from these kind of patterns and like forming a higher abstraction skill, so that it's kind of like, if you think about it, there's a saying in developers are as good as their tools. So, and like we as human, we evolve, right? Like our tools also evolve with us.
Yeah.
So like, and we learn things, kind of like we learn something to do. We have like a subconscious memory of sorts, which we develop of, like, let's say how to play chess, and like when this pattern emerges, what to do.
Yeah.
And that's where we are trying to go with this, where LLMs are great conscious brain, but doing things require a subconscious of remembering the patterns, and that's what we want to develop at Composio.
Interesting. So if someone so people are just thinking, oh, okay, you connected this tool to another, but actually you're more like, if you just give a tool that you DIY'd yourself to an agent, it's not going to use it as well as it will use our tools, because it has more kind of guidance and learned patterns and stuff.
Exactly. So like it's like if one agent using Composio does a mistake, we kind of learn from it, and the next agent using Composio shouldn't make the same mistake.
That's very interesting. I hadn't thought about that at all, to be honest. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
It's not
and
just
it's
tools.
a hard problem. So like a lot of research work going around it internally. We are kind of like looking out, like we have like some really cool folks working on top of this problem, but we are always looking out for more folks interested in working on this problem.
Okay. Well, people, if that sounds interesting to you, you should reach out to Karan. Help us use tools better. Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm personally, I just love this stuff. I think it's like, I've recently got extremely excited about all the tools, and like even like simple things, like you give an agent the ability to do Google searches, and it's like suddenly you can do so much more stuff. And you think that like, oh, the LLM can like know stuff, but it just works so well. Like I don't know, it's very cool. I'm very excited about the space.
I agree. I think really cool things are about to come.
What are you most excited about? Because you've been able to see the pattern, or you've like been very fast with the patterns. Are there anything that what's the next MCP? What's the next like agents, or is that the end? What are you most excited about?
Yeah, honestly, it's very difficult to predict in the current world, because like every other 2 weeks there is a new release. But at the same time, I think one thing is for sure, things like there are two things that will definitely improve. One is like latencies. I think the same intelligence that we are using right now will definitely kind of like fasten up. Like we'll get much more like tokens per second, etc. And like the intelligence, which direction it improves, it's very difficult to kind of predict. Like obviously coding has improved a lot, reasoning has improved a lot, video generation has improved a lot, but like it's very difficult to predict. Okay, next model, I think maybe like frontier labs can predict it, like what are the next capabilities unlock, what are they focusing on, but from outside it's somewhat difficult to predict. But I think like I'm like, because of this kind of like constant direction of latency decrease, cost decrease, I think I'm really excited next about, like, for example, voice related stuff. So a lot of things which are like people building in voice and like want to use MCPs around it. Like, for example, in a call, I'm sitting, like we are both are interacting, but there might be a kind of like a third bot where we'll just be, okay, go and like summarize the meeting notes till now and put it on a Notion, and it will do that all like in the call while we are kind of talking, and like come back to us. So that future I'm really excited about, for sure.
I completely agree. I think that's extremely exciting. You just feel like, oh, like, you know, we were talking about, like, for me, it's always like podcast related stuff. So it's like, oh, like, let's say we were, you know, you and I were talking about, oh, what should be the thumbnail for this episode? And we were like, okay, well, it's probably like, you know, 100,000 users in 6 months or something. And it's like, okay, hey, like, you know, not Alexa, but some other thing, go make that. And like, you know, you could just like message us when it's done and like add it in. It's just like, I feel like it's so cool. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be really cool, I think. And yeah, so much can be unlocked, right? Like I think we always have like these fireflies or kind of note takers that are on, and they also prove to be so valuable. So I'm just thinking, if there's like literally a AI person sitting there, how much valuable it can be.
Yes, I completely agree. Yeah. Karan, this has been really fun. I've learned a lot. I never thought about the fact that you're learning how to use the tools better. That's like kind of blowing my mind. So that's very exciting. Is there anything that you would say to DevTools founders? I know you said that you've listened to the show as well. So by the way, I really appreciate that. What kind of things do you feel like you've learned in the last 6 months that you would already say to other DevTools founders?
I mean, like, I think one of the biggest learning source has been your show. So thanks for
Sorry,
like
thank you.
I always look forward to new episodes. That's my gym time listen without any kind of, like, I think whenever a new episode comes in my gym, I kind of put it on. So I think two things that I've learned really well in kind of like developer tools and scaling developer tools. One is developers don't, it's like a common saying, but developers don't like to be sold. So that's why we have to like, if we develop something cool, like the examples that I mentioned, they just like that, and if they like it, okay, I like, for example, with me, I'm a developer, right? So if I like something, I'm like, okay, I want to use that, I want to build that for myself, and then I'll go and like kind of try to see what's there and like experiment with it, etc. That works the best in the developer community. Build something cool with whatever product, and like like sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't, but like just kind of write about it, post about it, like just let it open. And like in most cases, if it's really good, like people will be excited, and like people will try to use it, and kind of that's how like most of the developer tools I have seen work really well. And the second is, which is like a long kind of like lesson, and like we are also learning on the ways, you have to optimize that like aha moment really well. Because in the early on, if you don't get that aha moment well, and if something is not like, for whatever reason, if you don't get that aha moment, and like you get the reverse aha moment, which is like, okay, this is not working, that's like catastrophic. So I think that like onboarding journey, etc., which we are also like, I think, correcting as we speak all the time, because it's always kind of, you find a new friction and you have to optimize for that. So that's a constant learning and iterating, but those are the two things that like are the most important,
yeah,
in my mind.
So the first thing of just like not trying to sell too hard, and kind of exploring and putting out like actual like good stuff that is just genuinely interesting, and then optimizing for the aha moments, and also removing the like oh no moments of like this sucks. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, those are the two things that I've kind of like, I think we are trying to optimize a lot always.
Amazing. If people want to learn more about Composio, where would you like them to go?
Yeah, we have like our website is composio.dev. Our Twitter handle is Composio HQ, and like if they want to reach out to me, my Twitter handle is Karan Vaidya 6. Yeah.
And you've just raised $29 million, so people can start placing bets on how long it's going to be before your .com on the Composio as well.
yeah, I think people should check out our video.
Oh, is it?
Like,
is it? Yeah.
Yeah, the launch video is like, I think, really good. Like a lot of like we got like some really good views and some really good reactions.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a La La Land themed video, so people who are like La La Land or musical fans, they will really like it.
If you like La La Land and MCP, check it out.
Yeah, that
Karan,
should be soon. We are doing another one really soon. So
amazing. Karan, thank you so much, and thanks everyone for listening.